Hi, welcome to today's Leadership Lunch and Learn, where we will be highlighting impacts of your gifts in 2020 and what we are looking forward to in 2021. We wish we could gather in person, but we're so thankful you're here with us virtually. My name is Susan Veazey.
And my name is Jacqueline White. We proudly served with our husbands, Brantley White and Bill Veazey, as 2020 Leadership Campaign co-chairs. We are so grateful you are joining us today to learn more about this important work that you helped make possible. Today, we want to celebrate what you've made possible as leadership supporters. You'll hear what you've made possible over the past year and what's in store for United Way. But before we go any further, we want to take a quick we want to share a quick thank you video.
My name is Kenny.
My name is Greg.
My name is Bukari Saidu.
My name is Kim.
My name is Rick.
My name is Elise, and together we are united.
Thank you for supporting United Way's efforts
To end local poverty.
Thanks to you,
I'm on my journey to wellness.
Thanks to you, I achieved an A in reading.
Thanks to you, I'm no longer homeless.
United Way's movement
To ending poverty
is working.
Thanks to you, United Way
Is lifting children.
adults and families out of poverty.
From the bottom of my heart,
from the bottom of my heart.
From the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we truly are grateful for your partnership. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Frank Mccain, United Way's Vice President of Community Impact and Investment, to share a few of our updates.
So thank you very much, Susan, and welcome to all of you today for this leadership session. I am Frank Mccain, the Vice President of Community Investment and Impact at the United Way of Greensboro, and I kind of want to talk to you about the impact of your gifts over the last 12 to 18 months. I think that at some point over the last year, each of us has experienced some level of discouragement by what we've observed in our community. I think that we've seen it in our community, we've seen things in our state, we've seen things in our nation that have concerned us. And most of us has experienced at one time or another some form of reckoning or excitement or fear, or at least some level of uncertainty with all of this. During any of these stages, the needs of so many people in our community have been on full display. And at United Way of Greater Greensboro, we're about the full recovery of our community by providing collaboration and supporting reconciliation, healing, and the advancement of our main purpose, which is to elevate individuals and families out of poverty. As a community, we came together to respond to the health and economic impacts of COVID-19. Our United Way, or should I say your United Way, partnered with the City of Greensboro, Guilford County government, and other local community leaders to create and lead the Greensboro Virus Relief Task Force. And through our coordinated efforts, we raised and distributed over $2.5 million in Greensboro virus relief funds and $3 million in Guilford County CARES Act funding as a result of our collaboration. As a result of our collaboration, we were able to help in excess of about 100 different nonprofits, which in return helped thousands of people and local businesses when they needed it the most. On May 25th of last year, many were shocked to see a man named George Floyd take his last breath. Watching 9 minutes of horrific video footage prompted nationwide protests about his death and the deaths of others before him, specifically African-American men, while in protective custody. As a result, people from across the world responded and a renewed civil rights movement was born. Locally, people were and still are interested in learning about and actively promoting equity in all forms. At United Way, we've grown through learning just like our community has. And I would like to share a few ways we've responded in hopes that it inspires you personally and professionally. While we have always strived for our work to be inclusive at United Way, we still began by looking inwardly. We knew we wanted to do better, and as a leading community organization, we had a responsibility and needed to do what we could to promote positive conversations and systematic change. We brought local leaders together to discuss appropriate next steps, and then we launched a virtual series of open community conversations. Hundreds of people attended those discussions, and thanks to their honesty and open dialogue, United Way was able to identify several short-term and long-term actions that the community wanted to address. We shared those results with everyone who attended and identified people who were interested in specific topics and connected them with community leaders who were the experts in those areas. Internally at United Way, we chose to immediately respond to 3 identified issues. Number 1, to promote race, equity, and cultural sensitivity. Number 2, support workforce development efforts. And number 3, to implement a strategy for increasing grant making to diverse grassroots organizations. As a result, one of our initial actions included reviewing and updating United Way of Greater Greensboro's diversity and inclusion statement and bylaws. I'm pleased to say that thanks to a progressive staff and board of directors, we updated our statement and bylaws to be more intentional with a focus on equity and inclusion. To promote racial equity and cultural sensitivity, we now require members of our board of directors, along with all United Way staff, to attend equity training on an annual basis. To promote workforce development, we challenged local businesses to ban the box. For those of you who don't know, the Ban the Box movement advocates for ex-offenders. It is aimed at promoting and removing the box on the employment applications that ask people about their criminal record. We've also advocated for banning the past pay history question, which is often listed on employment applications as well. Internally, we are practicing what we preach and have removed both of these from our hiring process. In addition, we have initiated conversations with employers to set up apprenticeships, establish a path for permanent and career placement. To increase grant making to more grassroots organizations, we're taking steps to make sure that people and organizations with whom we partner are diverse and are making efforts to address inequalities internally and externally. Additionally, we are increasing our efforts, taking continued steps to increase the diversity of our own board of directors and our many volunteer-led committees. We also know that learning and remaining relevant requires ongoing study and conversation. To this end, we must continue to challenge our community to educate themselves as well as us. So we launched an email-based 21-day equity challenge to our community. 600 people participated in our initial challenge, and we plan to implement additional community challenges going forward. As we continue to partner with families on their journey to financial stability and seeking to end local poverty one family at a time, we know that more must be done. Calls for equity and COVID-19 pandemic are spotlighting the real challenges facing families and the complexities of addressing poverty in our community. Prior to the economic impacts of COVID-19, we know that over 57,000 people in our community were living in poverty, and that one out of four children in Greensboro live in persistent poverty. We also know that locally, there are pockets of our community where over 40% of the population has lived in generational poverty for years and years and years. The majority of those people being people of color. As a community, we can and we must do better. In addition to what I've already shared, we've continued our 2-generation approach to ending poverty by issuing funding to dozens of local nonprofits who have worked together to produce community-wide outcomes. I'd like to share a few of those outcomes with you today. Thanks to 30 partnerships that supported 59 holistic programs and services during the 2019-2020 fiscal year, we were able to help over 56,000 people. As a result of the caring power of our community, that number includes over 30,000 people receiving basic needs supports like housing and shelter, 3,000 people taking steps toward financial stability and independence like landing a new job or even a better job. It includes 3,000 local youth receiving the support they needed to achieve educational success, and more than 20,000 people receiving support to live a healthy lifestyle. And this doesn't include the hundreds of families who received help at our 2 family success centers that are providing multiple services to families through individual coaching in a one-stop shop coordinated way, while removing barriers like transportation and childcare to increase the likelihood of their success. Thanks to caring people like you, United Way mobilized over 5,000 volunteers who contributed nearly 26,000 volunteer hours. That's a lot of hours. That really speaks to the heart of our work. Everything we do is made possible by you, our donors, and volunteers. Volunteers lead our board, our committees, and determine our major grant funding decisions. United Way of Greater Greensboro is truly a reflection of the community we serve. And if all this good news wasn't enough, in December of last year, we made history by becoming recognized and ultimately rewarded for the transformational work we are doing. Philanthropist Mackenzie Scott gifted over $4 billion to 384 nonprofits across the United States. Your United Way, our United Way, the United Way of Greater Greensboro was one of only 2 United Ways in North Carolina to receive funding. This is not something that we knew about or even applied for. We were selected based on her views about the importance of the work we're doing and in the way we are executing our strategy to address poverty in our community. I am certain that the $10 million grant that we received was entirely made possible by her realization of your support for our work and believing that ending poverty in our community is possible. Ms. Scott's $10 million gift affords us an opportunity to make innovative and transformational investments in solutions that work together to end poverty across the entire community. As a start, we have earmarked the first $1 million of this funding to support the growing needs of housing in our community. Specifically, we issued a request for proposal to help support 300 households in Greensboro achieve one or more of the following. We want to help them to achieve or secure permanent housing, maintain permanent housing, purchase a home as a first-time home buyer. We had anticipated, and we were right, we received single and collaborative grant applications that include strategies to address these goals while addressing gaps in existing services and resources such as rental and utility assistance, along with eviction prevention, foreclosure prevention and mortgage assistance, case management and supportive services, and first-time homebuyer assistance. Stable housing. We know that stable housing is the foundation of well-being. The temporary and permanent housing industry in Greensboro, if you don't know it, has many, many challenges. Research has solidified that the housing industry is an economic engine, and if history repeats itself, will be vital in propelling our post-COVID-19 recovery. Historical data shows that communities that made investments in housing, its residents experienced greater economic recovery after virtually every major economic downturn. So as you have just heard, your United Way has been busy, very busy, in a productive and result-oriented way. Your unwavering support has allowed us to respond to our community's needs in some of the most extremely meaningful ways over the past year. Thanks to all of you on this call, we have literally been able to help tens and thousands of children and adults and families who needed to know that others care about their well-being and believe that living united as one community is more than just helping our neighbors in need. We are a city that values every person in our community. As Greensboro residents, we are all connected and in this work together. Our individual and collective efforts are essential to our success. When any of our community is struggling, it affects all of us. We all win when a local child succeeds in school and when a parent can build a better future for their children. The future of our community is brighter thanks to you, and for that, we are eternally grateful. I thank you for allowing me to share the impact your support has made in our community. To provide you with some insight about the road ahead is attorney Kim Gatling, chair of our board of directors for United Way of Greater Greensboro. Kim, I will now turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Frank, and thank you to everyone who is on this call this afternoon. This morning. You are truly making a difference. So as Frank mentioned, I'm going to offer a glimpse into our future. As you have likely heard, our former CEO, Michelle Geathers-Clark, has been hired by Visa to serve as the Chief Diversity Officer and Head of Corporate Responsibility. Her last day at United Way of Greater Greensboro was on April the 16th. Speaking on behalf of the entire United Way board and team, we are excited for Michelle and wish her all the best in her new global impact role. Michelle's leadership created a lasting impact that will be carried forward in the Greater Greensboro community for years to come. Thanks to her collaborative efforts, thousands of local children and families received the support and hope that they deserve. And thanks to her solid strategies, existing and future United Way leadership will continue creating partnerships that produce meaningful, equitable, and lasting impact. But I want you to know that United Way board members and executive leadership are wholly confident in the organization's abilities to continue creating partnerships that have such lasting impact. Charles Harris, a local executive search firm, has been selected to lead a national search for our new president and CEO. We are looking forward to identifying United Way's new high-impact change leader. And in the meantime, our current Chief Financial Officer, Brian Graham, has assumed the organization's interim leadership role of Chief Operating Officer until we find a new president and CEO. Since 2019, Brian has strategically managed United Way of Greater Greensboro's financial, human resources, information and technology, and facilities and administration operations. He also serves as the executive staff lead on our finance, human resources, and strategic planning committees. Immediately prior to joining the United Way of Greater Greensboro, Brian served as controller for the Community Foundation of Greater Atlanta, where he was responsible for the organization's financial operations of over $1.1 billion. At that foundation, he also co-led cross-functional resource development functions overseeing all grant making, policy and civic awareness, donor collaboration, human resources, and volunteer board engagement. So you can rest assured, we are continuing the good work of United Way with great leadership. And in addition to welcoming new leadership, I am so excited about the coming year because we will soon announce a new bold goal that has been developed by our community. We have spent the last several months working with community volunteers to comb through research and identify specific community needs relative to poverty. Our new bold goal will be focused on partnering with children and families living in poverty, and we will establish a data-driven outcome for all of us to support and reach. We will set forth a specific number of households that we hope to lift out of poverty by a certain time. And we will remain committed to giving annual updates along the way. You should also stay tuned as we pave the way for United Way of Greater Greensboro to celebrate 100 years in the community next March. This is a huge milestone for our organization, and we are going to do some big things to celebrate. So thank you for believing that ending poverty is possible, and thank you for your partnership in this life-changing and community-changing work. And speaking of partnership, I'd like to introduce United Way's 2021 Leadership Campaign co-chairs, my good friends, Ashley and Frankie Jones, to say a few words and wrap up today's meeting. Ashley and Frankie?
My name is Ashley Jones. My husband, Frankie, and I will proudly serve along with Jacqueline and Brantley White as your 2021 Leadership Campaign co-chairs.
Ashley and I support United Way of Greater Greensboro for all of the good work it has done in our community, including the leadership that it has shown throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Please stay tuned for upcoming Lunch and Learn programs, highlighting other areas of how your partnership makes a difference in this community.
Thank you to our leadership donors for your support in 2020, and please continue to join us in our work in 2021. Have a great rest of the day.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.